In the summer of 2019, 32-year-old Jamie Yazzie, a mother of three, vanished from her community in Piñon, Arizona, on the Navajo Nation. Her disappearance set off alarms within her family and her community, who were all too familiar with the grim reality of missing Indigenous women. For 2.5 years, her family searched tirelessly, clinging to hope, but in November 2021, the devastating discovery was made. Jamie's remains were found on the neighboring Hopi Reservation. What had started as a desperate search ended in a horrific revelation, but it would take even more time to bring her killer to justice. Tre C. Jamie's boyfriend, became the prime suspect. Their relationship had been marred by violence, as had many of James' relationships with other women in the community. James was convicted for Jamie's murder, as well as for acts of domestic violence against 3 other former partners. Jamie had been shot to death, a brutal end to a life cut tragically short. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. The murder of Jamie Yazzie is not just a single story of loss, but a reflection of a much larger crisis. The case stands as a stark reminder of the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women who disappear or are killed at disproportionately high rates in both the U.S. and Canada. Despite the devastation, Yazzie's family fought relentlessly for justice, turning their grief into advocacy. At the sentencing on September 23, 2024, U.S. District Judge Douglas L. Reyes sentenced James to life in prison without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder, plus an additional 10 years for his use of a firearm in the crime. In a federal courtroom in Phoenix, Yazzie's family and friends, along with other Indigenous community members, gathered to hear the verdict. They had waited 5 long years for this moment. Many of them had marched, demonstrated, and lobbied for Jamie's case to remain in the public eye, participating in the grassroots Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women (MMIW) movement. In the courtroom, Yazzie's mother, Ethelene Denny, delivered an emotional victim impact statement. Her voice trembling, Denny shared the immense grief the family had suffered since Jamie's disappearance, recounting the agonizing search and the ultimate heartbreak when her daughter's remains were found. James Yazzie, Jamie's father, who had passed away before the trial, appeared in a pre-recorded video, his voice frail but firm as he expressed his sorrow at the loss of his daughter and the devastation it brought upon the family. Outside the courthouse, supporters of Yazzie's family chanted and beat drums, celebrating the sentencing as a form of justice for Jamie. The FBI, which had played a major role in the investigation, emphasized the importance of the conviction. Today's sentence underscores the fact that Jamie Yazzie was not forgotten, said FBI Special Agent Jose A. Perez, a sentiment echoed by prosecutors and tribal leaders. A larger crisis, Jamie's case, while tragic, is far from unique. Indigenous women in the U.S. and Canada experience significantly higher rates of violence, with studies showing that more than 84% of Native American and Alaska Native women will experience violence in their lifetime. Jamie Yazzie's murder added to the growing list of missing and murdered Indigenous women, a crisis that federal authorities have characterized as an epidemic. Her case has become a symbol of this broader issue, and her family has vowed to continue advocating for justice for other women like Jamie. They know that while her killer has been convicted, thousands of other families are still waiting for answers. Their own loved one's case is still unresolved. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.